Okay, today we will be debunking some myths that we have in War Thunder. And if you have other ideas of stuff to debunk in War Thunder, please let me know in the comments. We will check them out in probably another video. In any case, I have some ideas in mind of stuff to check out in this video. And first on the list is stealth. In War Thunder, the thing to debunk about stealth aircraft is that some people say it does not work at all, and that it's pretty much useless for the F-117. So we will try if you can lock onto it, and if it is effective in any way. So let's try it out. So as you can see, I have an F-8F with a pretty poor radar right now, and one Meteor and one F-117. F-117 will be the stealth aircraft, and Meteor will be there as a reference. So far, no issue to lock on the Meteor, as you would expect. However, okay, so stealth is working right now, on this radar at least. Yeah, I can detect the F-117. I do not see it on radar. Completely invisible to radar. Okay, so absolutely no return whatsoever on this. Nothing, 5 kilometers, still nothing. Okay, so 5 kilometers seems to be the threshold on this radar for it to have an actual lock, and missile is tracking since it just needs a radar lock to perform. But on a pretty rudimentary radar, 5 kilometers seems to be the threshold. Okay, no trying with a better radar and better missiles as well. So 45 kilometers, no issue to lock onto the Meteor. However, as you can see, no return on the F-117, even with a better radar, pulse Doppler and everything. Seems to be working pretty well so far. Okay, so just imagine if this was an F-35 and launching missile at me. That is pretty scary to think about. Okay, 27 kilometers, still nothing. Still nothing, 25. It is very stealthy, I will have to admit. Oh, I can lock him 20 kilometers, okay. So we've gone from 40 kilometers plus to 25. What about a missile lock? Does it lock on very well? Doesn't seem to lock on very well. Okay, missile launches. Okay, now it locks on. Okay, so still working somewhat fine. About half of the distance to lock on, but working fairly well. Okay, and now checking with the most advanced kind of radar that we have in game. AESA radar, active electronic scan array, very advanced stuff, pretty much what they use on today's fighter jets. Okay, so far still no return at 35 kilometers, still nothing. Meteor is locked on just fine, as you would expect, obviously. Yeah, nothing. 28 kilometers, no detection, and we will try with a Fox 3 missile to see if it can actually hit a stealthy target. No return. Seems like it is the same as the... yeah. Same as the F4J. About 20 kilometers, and how is the Fox 3 doing? Not locking on. Usually when it locks on you have... okay, so it locks on at 3 kilometers. Oh, wait. Yeah, that was kind of weird. The missile had a lot of struggle to actually hit its target. It only locked on at 5 kilometers instead of the usual like 20. So definitely working fairly well. It's not as powerful as you can see online or anything, like completely invincible to radar. You can still detect it, which makes sense. I mean, it's still an aircraft flying in the air, but it is a lot more powerful, and if your aircraft is an actual fighter jet with this kind of technology, it is pretty scary to face, I would imagine. So stealth in War Thunder, it is actually working, but not as well as some people would expect, I think. Still, fairly good. On to the next one. Right, now apparently the myth is that the Fakour 90 range is only limited right now by the size of the maps. So it could actually go further than we currently can showcase, apparently. And to try this out, we have at the other end of the map B-29 going around 600 kph and Fakour 90s to launch. This is about as long of a range you can achieve in game. Okay, so Fakour 90 launch at 170 kilometers away. First of all, the terminal velocity this missile will reach will be insane, because I'm already 11,000 meters up. It's climbing very aggressively, and the boosters last for such a long time, and it's so powerful. Yeah, this is fairly insane. Terminal velocity will be Mach 5.3, it would appear. Absolutely insane. So far the missile tracks very well. The range that you see is not the actual range that the missile is at the target. It's the range between my plane and the B-29 right now. It's actually much closer already. The guidance time is at apparently 150 seconds, so a bit more than 2 minutes before it self-implodes should be enough. Well, I guess I spoke too fast. So, wait. Will it hit or will it self-implode? Let's see. No, it just self-implode every time. So, Fakour 90 falls. It is not limited just by the map size. It's actually limited by its timer on the guidance system for some reason. Clearly has the range. Could have clearly hit the target. Let's try with the M54C. Now trying with the F54C. M54C, I mean. So clearly much lower, but apparently it has about the same range as the Fakour 90. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, clearly much slower than the Fakour 90. Maybe this time around the timer of the guidance system won't do us dirty. Okay, the timer seems to last for much longer on the M54C actually. Yeah, it sounds like it will hit. So the M54C is pretty much limited by the map size, while the Fakour 90... Okay, so both of them are not limited by the map size. They are limited by their timer. The timer on the M54C, I think it's 160 seconds, maybe 150, I think 160. Unfortunate. I honestly believed this one, but I was wrong. If the other target was going Mach 2, definitely would have hit the target, but when you have a slow target like the B-29, no. Alright, for the next one, we have nukes. And do they actually do damage? So let's find out. Let's destroy this thing. Well, they certainly do damage on your PC, but as you can see, no damage. It is just an effect. It doesn't actually really do anything. Looks very cool though, but no. It does not, in fact, destroy anything. Well, it actually destroys stuff on the ground. It does not actually give off any damage. Okay, but now if you're wondering, what about ground vehicles? Let's see. Again, a lot of damage on my PC. No damage whatsoever. It does remove the buildings nearby. Like for example, there should be one there. It disappears, but the model is still there, so you can't even drive through. The city remains, but the visual disappears. So it's only visual. Okay, now for this one, it's about APS, and in particular, the APS system on the Black Knight. As you can see, it has a pretty advanced APS system, 17,000 meters per second interception speed, maximum speed at which it can intercept a projectile, and as you can see, an APFSDS round is below that, 1680 meters per second. The myth here is some people think it does not, in fact, intercept APFSDS shot, and it is only made for ATGMs. And some people think it's made to intercept APFSDS shot and intercept them every single time. So let's see how it performs. Okay, so there is a Black Knight in front. I have 3 different range: short, medium, and long range. Okay, so let's try it out. It did it. It would appear that at short range the APS is not working. Yeah, short range, no issue at all penetrating the Black Knight. Sounds a bit weird. Now medium range. Medium range it works. Medium range it can intercept fairly easily an APFSDS shot. 1680 meters per second is not a slow APFSDS. As you can see, no problem at all intercepting the round. Apparently it should not just straight up delete the rod out of existence. Seems a little bit weird how powerful it is. Completely neglecting my ammo, not even registering a hit or anything. But now that it has run out of its APS system, it is easy to shut down. Long range, much of the same. Yeah, it just does not care at all that it's a rod traveling at Mach 4 about to hit it. It just deletes the round out of existence. So at short range, it is ineffective. The APS system doesn't have time to react to the threat, but when you give it some distance, it can actually detect and destroy. Okay, now trying with the one of the fastest round in game, OFL 120F1, with a muzzle velocity of 1790 meters per second, so faster than the velocity at which the Iron Fist system can intercept an APFSDS round, apparently. So let's see. Oh, seems to be too fast now. Yep. Yeah, so you really need an ammunition that can go faster than the catch velocity of the Iron Fist. Even at this distance, I would assume the APFSDS shot would slow down enough for the Iron Fist system to catch it, but apparently not, apparently still too fast, so definitely need to use a Leclerc or something along those lines with some very fast APFSDS ammo to actually take it out at medium ranges and further beyond. Okay, oh my god, look how stubby that cannon is. Okay, we will try now. Apparently you could use an artillery tank as actual artillery. The only issue we have in game is that the map that we have in ground battles are not big enough to support such a thing. Like the minimum range that you can achieve on the artillery cannon that we have in game right now is like at least 3, 4, 5 kilometers, and usually a lot more than this. So the map size is the only limiting factor for this one. Let's see if it is the case. Firing and following where the bullet goes. Now, obviously, it will be pretty hard to follow it in this view. We will follow its trajectory in the sensor view. So obviously for this, I choose a tank with the slowest cannon run as possible, and that could go upwards, 540, 60 meters per second, exit velocity on the bullet. So let's see how it goes. Okay, there we go. Okay, so very fast. Okay, so you can see it. Not very well, but you can see it. Okay, let's speed up the time. Soon it will reach the apex. Okay, it reached the apex and now it's falling down. Will it actually hit the ground or... Ah, no, it just times out. That is ridiculous. Okay, but it travels a ton of distance. So no, Mythbusted. You cannot use an artillery gun as an artillery. It traveled 8 kilometers, which is fairly insane, but it does not work. Alrighty then, that would be it for this video. If you guys have other ideas on what we should test in the future, let me know in the comments. If I see anything interesting, I will test it in the future and see how it goes. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed the video and see you guys around.